Canada. Once again, we have a great episode ahead of us, a big episode covering the first pay-per-view of the year. And once again, joining me is my bro from the East, Dave.
I like to think
There
of
he
myself.
is.
I like to think of myself as a central person, not necessarily the East, but I'll take it.
Oh, really? You consider Ontario more central Canada?
It's a really Ontario centric point of view, but we're the middle, and then anything Manitoba way is west, and anything Quebec is east.
Okay. Yeah, see, I would consider Ontario, I guess, right center. Or center, I guess.
It's just the way we think of ourselves. We
Makes
have a
sense.
very big
Yep.
head.
Toronto area? No, you don't say.
Hey, I am not from the GTA, sir. I am in between there and Windsor, not to dox myself.
Touche, touche. So, Dave, we had a great event that just happened. The first Schmoedown Throwdown of the digital era. What did you think?
Well, I was really excited to get this match because I thought both matches were super uh, were were things that I had wanted for a long time and that we had been thinking about since like March. It sounded like, I think, and I was not let down. These were two fantastic matches, and I'm glad I'm getting the chance to talk about it.
Yeah, ditto. They were both excellent matches. What do you think of the debut of the tag format in the digital era?
Definitely still need. It was obviously the first match, but I thought it worked a lot better. I was expecting a lot more hiccups than came through. How about yourself?
No, I it exceeded my expectations, probably because I didn't really have any going in. It wasn't because I wasn't really sure how they were gonna do it. But it just goes to show just how well oiled of a machine the crew for the Schmoedown is. Because that, yeah, you're right. There wasn't any typical glitches whatsoever. The only one was a little tweak of a rule halfway through when Winston said, "Hey, I don't want them in the green room for our speed round." That was really the only glitch I found,
No, and that well,
if you can call it that.
yeah, and it wasn't the speed round. It was just the second round, even though they did run through that category quite quickly. And
Well, okay, it was speedy. What can I say?
and I totally agree with you though. And sorry, not with you. With Winston in in calling out and being like, no, I don't want them here because, like Paul said, being able to hear the deliberation of the other team would have been such a massive advantage if a steal opportunity had arisen.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's an opportunity that the team that goes first wouldn't have gotten. So no, it makes total sense for the other team to not be in there at all. And it was a great call on Winston's part.
Oh, 100%. All right, you want to just jump right into it? Like let's stop footing around it and let's just get into the first match, eh?
Yeah, for sure. I want to give a special shout out to the dogs of the Schmoedown. Molly, uh, doing whatever she was doing. She's been personally a favorite addition of mine to the digital age of the Schmoedown. And you had Lon Harris's dog Taco peeking over his head, and you had Winston's dog Shuri, who was MIA. It looked.
Yeah, the Schmo dogs have definitely been a big plus to the digital era. There's a lot of drawbacks, but there's a lot of pluses, and one of those is the
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, it's nice to see the legacy of Cal the Schmo dog. May he rest in peace. Live on through the other dogs of the Schmoedown.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that was a sad day.
it was. So what did you think of the team's match? Deep 13 versus Final Exam. What were your thoughts coming into this match?
My thoughts were it was going to be a barn burner. It was exactly, honestly, it went exactly as I thought it would. A very tight game, back and forth. Because none of these guys are slouches. There was one thing that I found interesting, and actually it harkens back to what we were just talking about, like the technical glitches and stuff like that. It's when Whitney Seibel misheard his question. I think that's the only drawback from the match is that that is a risk you will run into is that you won't properly hear the question and it'll get the question wrong.
Yeah, I think to touch on that, I think that just goes to show how knowledgeable Whitney is, that he heard it, started going through a completely different actor's filmography, but it goes to the maybe lack of understanding on gameplay. I think if he wasn't quite sure how he heard the question, he should have used a repeat, and I think he probably would have got there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, if that had happened in the studio, you'd know like the manager would have done something about that. But yeah, no, it was definitely a glitch of some sort, either mechanical or on Whitney's part. But do you think that was a turning point in the match? Like I know it was towards the end of the match, but do you think that sealed their fate?
I don't think so, because I really think Deep 13 played incredibly well. I think, as often is in these teams rounds, round one is really the decide, where
Okay.
there are more points available on one than are available anywhere else. It is true in teams play. It is a place where you can score your points, because you can score a potential of 18 points if both players go perfect. The max you can score in either of the other rounds is 12 and 10. So being down in the first round is such a massive disadvantage. I think that's really where Final Exam showed their strength, and Deep 13 maybe was playing catch up, had to play catch up the rest of the match.
No, okay, fair enough. I will say it was actually nice to see that the final exam, not final exam, Deep 13 actually played well as a team. Like they were when, especially in the second round, when they were talking about their answers and talking it through and through. I thought it was pretty cool to see, because like you said earlier, Whitney, it seems like he doesn't really know the game, but I mean, seeing that, well, maybe he knows a little bit more than we thought of.
That's true. That's true. And it definitely seems like Whitney has some kind of understanding. I don't think I would put him, Whitney, Alonso, and Matt Atchity are of a similar ilk, where I think they all know the game well enough to confer on answers and have a wealth of knowledge, but maybe not enough to use the repeats at the appropriate time. But I think really the massive story here is Final Exam, Lon and Paul not even missing a beat coming back into singles or teams.
Oh God, no. Yeah, God no. And you could tell like they got their character dynamic down pat. Like the whole game is this, we had to wrangle Lon to get here. We didn't know if he was going to show up. I find they're a better version of the Odd Couple. In the sense that they're better at character work than the actual Odd Couple are, because the Odd Couple that Odd Couple is essentially they're just playing themselves. Schneider is playing Snyder, and then Draco's playing Exciter. This one they're actually playing more of an odd characters, like they're playing that up more, and I think it suits them better.
Oh, I agree, and I think I don't know if I say that. I think they're both individual facets, but I think the character work of the delinquent is something that I didn't know how much I was missing until it was back on my screen. Because we've got to see Oyama compete in both singles and Inner Geekdom since his Final Exam match. But oh man, getting Lon back on our screen was something I knew I wanted, but not something I realized I missed this much.
Yeah, man, that is a perfect example of the right character for the right person. Lon Harris. I'm just gonna say it. He's beautiful. He's awesome. He makes me laugh. Like I'm pretty sure he makes everybody laugh. Like
he makes me laugh.
And it's such a 180 from his previous character too. Like that's the beauty of it. Like he went from one extreme to the other without missing out any hiccups.
No, and that really is the mark of a true professional, where you see that he can be in character while playing. We only see a few people who can stay perfectly in character while playing. like Tom is
Mm-hmm.
one of them. Andrew Guy is another. But man, he is just so in it the entire time, constantly being like, "Oh, we're not done." And or making jokes about the questions, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's honestly a character going into this season I didn't know I wanted, but now that I have him, I'm so glad I do.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about round two because I think that's very interesting. Uh, Deep 13 getting Festival Darlings again.
Yeah.
2 for 2 on Festival Darlings. And Final Exam getting Adam Sandler. Is there a more diametrically opposed set of categories?
I honestly can't think of one because I've never heard the words Adam Sandler and Festival Darlings in the same sentence before.
Well,
And don't get me wrong, I am an Adam Sandler fan, but you know,
do so how did you think the two teams did in their respective rounds? Obviously high scoring, but do you think it was the
yeah.
right decision for them?
Well, of course, Festival Darlings is you're known for. Of course, you should go for it. It's like Rocha and biopics. But I thought the reasoning behind picking Adam Sandler was actually very smart because as a character, it's a category we've never seen done before. So you know the questions are not going to be out there, like say action movies or something like that, right? It's still a relatively new category, so that was very very smart strategy on Final Exam's part.
Yeah, I gotta say, the Adam Sandler category was a lot deeper than I thought it was gonna be. Some of those movies, like I was expecting a lot of 50 First Dates and The
Mm-hmm.
Wedding Singer, but like they were getting in there, and I'm really happy to see the exploration of some of these movies in Adam Sandler's filmography that maybe aren't the most famous.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was honestly, I wasn't expecting the first time around to hear a bedtime stories question.
Yeah, that's a movie. That's a movie. That's a movie I have not thought about in a long time.
Yeah, me neither until it came out. No, honestly, they both did really well. Like I said, Festival Darlings. You know, you can't go wrong with that if that's your strength. But Adam Sandler, that was smart. That's probably one of the more smarter strategies I've seen in a while.
Hmm. Now,
What do you
I
think of the
think
second round?
I thought it was really good. I think I would have liked to have seen Deep 13 get something other than Festival Darlings, just
Mm.
because I'm afraid that might be their one thing that they have. And I know they're both very knowledgeable guys, but I knowing that they're going to be in the teams tournament, I want to see some diversity in what kind of categories they can answer.
Yeah, luckily, you know, we will see it. It's just the same thing with the wheel round. It's always down to luck, and they just happen to get it twice in a row. Like that's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? But yeah, we will see them have to do something different, and God forbid they get opponent's choice, right?
Well, opponent's choice is how they got their last Festival Darlings.
Oh yeah, yeah, but that was all. That was mostly on the fault of the den on that one.
It was. Um,
Yeah.
Adam Sandler though is exactly what I'm talking about. I wanted to see that diversity. I believe
Mhm.
last time around, I wish I had the information in front of me. It was they got like YA adaptations or something as their round two
Yes,
category.
that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that is true. Yeah.
and very different. A lot of action franchise versus a comedy act, well, or a specific actor as a category. So
Mm.
we're seeing that diversity in them. The very clean game here, but I think a good stopping down point is to talk about someone we haven't talked about yet, which is Ken. This is Ken's first official
Yeah.
time managing. What did you think of that?
Uh, Ken was being Ken. Honestly, I can't really say much about it. Ken, Ken, he's a smart guy. He's very strategic. Something that he's probably learned in the world of professional wrestling because he was a manager in there at one point as the character Tex Tunney, I think his name was, in the California League. So no, Ken knows what he's doing. He's been around since the beginning. So I mean, he's definitely got a wealth of knowledge that he can pass on to the Droogs. So it wasn't the way the first outing should have gone, but no, he's gonna do good.
I think that this match reminded me just how good Ken is on the mic. He's
Oh
fantastic.
yeah.
He's fantastic on the desk with Ellis, but I really think he is best served as a manager. It might not be the thing he wants to do the most, but it is the thing he is so good at.
Yeah, 100%. To allude to his shirt, Ken Knapsack to me is the Rowdy Roddy Piper of the Schmoedown. He can compete, he can manage, he can do the desk. He's arguably the best talker in the league. No offense to Rocha or Jay Washington or any of those guys. He is the consummate, and he's really good at playing the heel. Like his
Yes.
stuff with corruption when he first turned on Rachel and stuff. He is a threat across all the categories. To me, he is the Rowdy Roddy Piper of the Schmoedown.
Oh, yeah, agreed. Um as we move into round 3 here, because we're going to try to wrap this up so that we can move into the main event, the meat and potatoes of it all. But save it, Soda. I'm sure you already ate dinner. When
Yeah, I had a burger.
round 3, a little bit weird. We see the Whitney missing his 2, but then they get their 3 and their 5, where final exam, Lon gets their 2-pointer, who directed Superman the movie, and then eventually,
Yeah, that's one. That's a 2-pointer if there ever was one.
yes, very true, very true. Well, it's not in the Inner Geekdom League, so some people might not know.
True, but you know what? That I might hit back against that just a little bit because that is one of the more iconic movies to come out in the last 50 years. So I might hit back on that just a little bit. It'd be like not knowing that Steven Spielberg directed Raiders, sort of thing. So yeah, I think more people know Dick Donner, like in the movie sphere, know Dick Donner directed Superman than you think.
No, I agree, but I think it's a reasonable round. I've 2-point question.
Oh yeah, no, it was asked right in the right point bracket.
Now, final exam will go on with some with a lot of deliberation, a lot of close calls to hit their 5-pointer. But first, Paul Oyama is going to miss the Universal Soldier question. Is this a case of his age showing through, or and do we think that going into this week's match against the Den, is that something that the Den could exploit?
Yes, on both. Easily the Den could exploit that unless Paul Smart starts studying that particular genre of movies. But for me, that was definitely his age showing, because that is for people like our age. Because I know you're younger than me, but you're still relatively around the same age. I think that's a movie that is pretty well known around our age and older. So yeah, I'm not surprised that someone of he's like what 21. I'm not surprised that he never seen it or heard of it.
I don't know how old he is. I think he's closer to my age.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. He is closer to your age, but he's still just barely drinking from what I hear. And funny enough, I actually just watched Universal Soldier like 3 weeks ago, and it is still a fun movie. Still, a fun movie. I highly recommend it if anybody hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Just gonna give you a brief synopsis to try to get your head into it. Van Damme and Lundgren play platoon members in Vietnam at the very beginning. They end up killing each other, and then they end up getting resurrected back into this this Universal Soldier program, where they get sent into hostage situations and to save people and get the job done or whatever. But during the hostage situation, Van Damme's memories start to come back. And so he's trying to figure out what happened, and then Lundgren's memories come back, and he's just freaking twisted, necklace full of ears and stuff. Like it's out there, but it is so much fun.
Oh, that sounds like a good Thursday night kickback with a couple beers and enjoy.
Yeah. That's a movie. Yeah, exactly. Thursday night kick back with a couple beers, couple of your friends, just sit there and watch and have fun.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap up this quickly, but either right now or tomorrow, the final exam will be taking on the Pride, Ben Goddard versus Rachel Silvestrini, and Ben Goddard and Rachel Silvestrini. How do you think that match is going to fare for final exam?
I'm gonna call it now. I'm gonna call it a win. It's gonna go down like this one did to the 5-pointer. It's gonna be pretty close, but I'm calling final exam for the win.
I totally I agree. I think it's gonna really depend on what the Pride gets in round two, because again, I think round one, as I said before, is so important in teams play, and final exam has shown that they can put up solid numbers in that first round. You're going to need a strong round two category to counter that, like Deep 13 had today. And
Yeah.
but I'm going to also chalk it up for a win for final exam.
Yeah, and also they've got experience on their side, like Paul Yama's former champ, Lon Harris. He has played the number one contenders match, or he came within one win of it, something like that.
He was in team.
Well, I know he went. Yeah, he went to the team finals.
Yeah. Other than that, he hasn't been in a. He has not in singles. He's never been in a number one contenders match.
I thought he came close to number one contenders in singles. Okay, my bad.
I think he was.
That's why you're here, Dave. You know all this stuff.
He was on a path, but I think he got knocked off that path by someone. I forget who. I don't have that information in front of me. We're not here to relitigate past seasons.
No. But I mean, they definitely have experience with this side. They've been to the promised land. Both of them. So I mean, they have that advantage over the Den for sure.
100%, 100%. All right, yeah. Moving on to the main
event. Yeah, we had John the Outlaw Rocha versus big time Ethan Erwin in a number one contenders match. This is the third time these two have faced each other, and honestly, this was the best of the three.
Oh, easily, it's the best of the three. If you look at their first match against each other, like no way about it, but it was not a good match for Rocha, and Rocha has said the same in the past. And their second match, triple threat, Bibiani, that was his match to win.
Yeah, exactly. But this match, man, Rocha, yeah, he may have lost, but it wasn't his fault. Like, I mean, I'm on his Discord. I see how hard he studies. He's been studying like a madman for this. Ethan's just one of those guys. Rocha has nothing to be ashamed of. Was this not Ethan's first time into sudden death?
Yes, it was. Not many players have been to sudden death. It is oh man, it's a tough thing to do. But like, let's just break down this match a little bit. 7 for 7 after the first round. How did you feel? Did you feel momentum one way or the other, given that they were tied going after this second round? Missing different questions.
No, yeah, fair enough. No, I honestly, my feeling coming out of that round was we're in for a great match. To me at that point it was still anybody's win. But yeah, it was then that I realized, it's gonna be a tight one.
Oh, for sure. And I think there was not a moment, even when Ethan misses his first his question in round one, you can tell it doesn't phase. That's what I love about Ethan. It's just like water off a duck. He's just ready to keep going.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Rocha, he's passionate, and I love that about him, especially his promo at the very end. That is the Rocha I love, where he's speaking from the heart. But he takes getting a wrong question, all that stuff, a little too seriously. Where these and Erwin, he's there to have fun. Like, I mean, yeah, he takes it seriously, but I mean, like, if he misses a question, he misses a question, you know?
Yeah, and I think that was the thing, because even she's very impressed with Rocha when he misses one question and he just kept going. And when it was 7-7, I started bracing myself and I was like, these guys are not going to miss a question going forward. This is going to be a perfect game from here on out. Now, we'll get to that in a moment. But as we enter round 2, I think this is a good time to talk about Sam Levine and Bobby Gucci. How do you feel like the two of them managed this match?
I just want to give a shout out to Sam Levine's name on the thing, youngest person here. Did you notice that?
I did.
Oh, I love Sam Levine. I didn't notice anything different. Like it seems to be like from the managers. It's like, yeah, you're doing a good job, To me, it wasn't significant.
Yeah. For me, I continue to be impressed by both Sam Levine and Finstock, or Bobby Gucci, sorry. Because Sam we haven't seen a lot because pre-COVID he was busy and wasn't in studio a lot. Mm-hmm. And post-COVID, unfortunately, his players have not been making it very far in these tournaments, so we haven't got a chance to see them play often. But I think
did they ever need the win here?
Yeah, and I think he is such a good counterbalance to Ethan, where Ethan's just like, yeah, we're gonna play. We're gonna play. And Sam is in there like hyping him up, and he's getting in there being like, it's gonna bug him way more that he didn't go perfect, then it's gonna bother you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the beauty thing about Sam is he knows what buttons to push, mm-hmm. and he does it perfectly. To the point where Harloff even muted him, which for me was the moment of the match.
That's up there. But you know what? This is actually a great time to talk about something that we don't give enough love to on this show, and that is the promo work by Nerd Chronic. Like, oh my god. So good.
Yeah.
And
the dude yeah, there's just something about him. Like he's a world-class editor to be able to get those promos that he's getting.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but I think everyone is just firing on all cylinders. Whether it's Nerd Chronic able to seamlessly cut together 3 separate instances of Rocha calling Erwin out in a way that makes it sound like it's one long rant, where he doesn't have a lot to work with for Ethan, except just Ethan being the silent assassin. But maybe line of the year was said in this promo, which was Sam Levine talking about in the Rocha defense against Erwin, when neither one of them answered Sam Levine as the answer. And he's like, I'm not still bitter. Shows the clip. It's ridiculous that a belt was awarded that day. And I just started laughing.
Okay, I have to ask you, where does that moment for you rank in all-time Schmoedown history? For me, personally, that's number 1.
Oh, that's up there. Wait, do you mean the moment or him saying it?
No, the moment, like just a little bit of a sidetrack. The moment that we're talking about, the moment where they both missed the question, and Sam came in and started giving him shit in the middle of the match. To me, that's number 1 all time.
It's definitely up there for me. My number 1 moment of all time. It's between 2. First one is in the first match I ever watched, which is well documented, being Team Machinima versus Team Profiles in season 2, where there was a movie news category, and answer to the question was who is rumored to be the front runner to play Spider-Man, and Scott Manson and Alicia Malone, they don't have any idea. And Team Machine was just like, it's little Asia Butterfield, little Asa Butterfield. They're just freaking out about it. And I'm like, that's a great one. And there's also Andrew Guy in the match with Dan Murrell, which is lean back, adjust the sunglasses. It's not blue, it's cerulean, motherfucker. And I will always. Oh, that is a moment.
Yeah, that's the amount of moments that we have gotten from the Schmoedown, man. Like I'm forward to when they hit the 10-year and do like the top 50 moments. You know they're going to.
Oh, for sure. But like back to the match, like what did you think of this? We see Ethan hit a spinner's choice, sorry, and chooses Catherine Bigelow. What'd you think about that?
If it was any other person besides Ethan Erwin, I would say that was a ballsy move. But when he said Catherine Bigelow, I'm like, yep, makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it definitely makes sense. I gotta say, I'm excited. I wasn't aware, and I'd love to see, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere, a compiled list of all the categories. I didn't know Catherine Bigelow was a category that you could get on round 2.
I think it's been. I know it's been on the wheel before. I don't think it's ever been picked.
But like, even so, like these were some really solid questions about some fantastic movies. But we got an extra question in here in this Catherine Bigelow round. I think maybe it's time to step down and have a conversation about some of the controversy that comes out of this round, starting with that challenge. What do you think about that?
I agree, because that is a strategy challenge, if anything. That is semantics at its finest, because, yeah, the movie takes place in the 60s, but the correct answer, the 1960s.
Yeah, and I think this is not my original take. I believe it was Brad Gilmore said it on the rundown. If it's a movie release dates or a question that has context as to like this happened in decade, then yeah, saying 60s if the answer is 1960s would be acceptable. But just there being riots, like there were riots, there's riots every decade. So him just saying 60s is like, yeah, that could be literally anything. And I think,
yeah, and that's the same argument Rocha said too when you defended his decision.
Now, more importantly, I think a lot of people are on the semantics of it and saying like, yeah, that's a good strategy challenge. What do you think about the decision to give Ethan a second question? I
think it's fair. Because the argument for his answer could be argued both ways. It really could go either way. So honestly, to me, the only fair decision was to do what they did. Just completely null the question, null and void. Keeps his challenge. Just ask him another question. I think it was the right call.
See, I disagree. That. I disagray. Okay. I think Erwin should have. I think Rocha should have been given another question with the potential to steal. I think the decision there, I think it sets a dangerous precedent. And obviously precedent is not everything because it comes down to the judges on the field.
Yeah.
But Erwin's answer was ruled incorrect. So there was nothing wrong with the question as much as it was announcer error in feeding him. But at the end of the day, the answer Erwin gave was deemed incorrect. Because of that, I think we should have awarded him should have awarded Rocha a new question, but with the potential for a 2-point steal. I think back the reason I think that this makes sense is I think this is kind of a similar situation to Jeff Snyder versus Paul Oyama in New York. where a fan said
Okay.
the answer to the question on I believe it was Oyama was trying to steal, and Oyama was given a new question for 1 point in that case, because I think it's outside interference on both
Yeah.
accounts. Snyder wasn't given a new question, and I understand, but it came down to the answer was wrong. Now, obviously, you can't go back and you can't posthumously do this. I just think it's something worth examining going forward.
No, that's a good point because honestly, truthfully, I completely forgot that even happened in the Oyama Snyder match.
Yeah, these things happen. These things happen.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I believe it. I won't be surprised if it happened more than once. But yeah, no, I totally forgot about that. So when you say it like that, yeah, no, they should have followed the same strategy. But yeah, it all comes down to in the moment. That's just how these calls always go. Like I said, it's just like real sports. It's just in the moment what's right in the moment. You can't think ahead for these things.
Now, speaking about in the moment, there was another piece of controversy in this match that didn't come up till far after the match, and obviously can't go back and be retrofitted into. But what do you think of the controversy that the champ Dan Murrell started discussing?
Um, Now, full disclosure, I actually didn't like. Obviously I heard what he said, but I didn't know what the controversy was until you had actually mentioned it to me yesterday. Um, you know what? That's one of those. Everyone missed it. That's a tough one. Cause yeah, and Rocha. I'm surprised honestly. Rocha didn't call that because he's a military man. So he knows the distinguishments between the different ranks and stuff. So I'm surprised he didn't pick up on that. But it's one of those. It's past. You can't really do much about it. I haven't looked at any of the comments or anything, so I don't know what if there's any controversy at all right now.
Mhm.
We'll have to wait and see. So
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, the controversy was uh, for what was Jeremy Renner's rank in the Hurt Locker. Ethan answered sergeant, where in fact the answer was staff sergeant. I myself didn't catch it, and I think it comes down to if you don't know that answer, you probably are just like, yeah, that's obvious. That's obvious the answer. I don't think it comes down to knowing the military ranks as much as it comes down to knowing the answer. I think though that this small bit of controversy it could have changed the entire dynamic of the match, but at the end of the day, it's the calls made on the field, and we can't go back and change things.
yeah, no, exactly. Because I mean, if we were, knows what type of chaos that would create in the league. So yeah, no, yeah, like I said, right now I don't really see a controversy. Would have to take a look at the comments. So far, I haven't seen anything.
Mhm.
So it's one of those I don't know if anybody really picked up on that.
No, I don't think so either, and I think a lot of people are in the similar boat as I'm saying, where it's like had to be challenged in the moment. It sucks that this happened. It sucks that Rocha is at the other end of a another controversial decision, but these things happen. Now,
Yeah.
did you, even with all the challenges and all this stuff, both players end up scoring a perfect 8 points in this second round. Going into the third round, how are you feeling?
More on nerve. Like it's just okay. Who's gonna blink first? Essentially, is what I was feeling going into the rounds. Is like who can make the first mistake.
Yeah, and it turned out neither of them is going to make a mistake until the very end of the match.
Oh, and that's one of the more beautiful things about matches like this is you don't know until the very end until you just wait for somebody to step on that banana peel, and yeah, this match to me top five of the year, contender match of the year.
Oh, this is definitely up there. Now, can we just talk for a second about Erwin's round 3 categories? Animated,
Yeah,
dance, Disney. What?
right. Sam
Could you,
Levine's worst nightmare come to life.
Ethan Irwin's worst nightmare come to life, but he did so he's clearly been studying because I think in the
Yeah.
past, given a 2 point animation question, he would not have gotten it, but he got Lilo and Stitch, and I don't know that uh, I have never heard anyone describe experiment 626 as 626. I was like, what? Mark Ellis, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. I have to admit I've only seen the movie once, so I definitely would have gotten that question wrong.
Oh, do yourself a favor. Watch Lilo and Stitch. It's so good.
Yeah, that's now that Disney Plus is a thing, I probably will have to. I think it is on my list.
Now, did you know the answer of the trampoline? Did you know that Disney quote?
No, because I thought the same thing as Ethan. I said Meet the Robinsons.
Dude, I said that's so weird because I watch all these matches with my fiance and I turned to her and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Meet the Robinsons. Pretty sure it's Meet the
Yeah,
Robinsons.
yeah. I was yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't. What was the answer again?
The answer was Emperor's New
Emperor's New
Groove.
Groove.
And
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite. I don't remember that line.
no, it's when Yzma is a little cat and she's falling off the off
Oh
the top
yeah,
of it. She bounces back up off the trampoline and is then she gets the potion.
yeah. Okay, I don't remember the. I remember the scene. What like her reaction when they find out she's a cat's one of my favorite moments. I
Mhm.
just don't remember the line, to be honest.
No, it's all the way at the bottom. The red and blue guard is like, for the last time we didn't order a, because I had to go back and watch the scene because I was like, I don't remember that. Um,
Yeah.
I this is what I do like about this round though. I thought the level of questions, despite Sam Levine's protest, I thought they were so well balanced.
Oh
Very
yeah.
rarely do we see two 5 point questions, which are both quotes questions. And that is something we
Yeah. No,
saw.
you're right there.
Did you know knock your punk ass down?
No, that one I didn't.
I
Did
did.
you?
I did
Okay.
be- because I distinctly remember as a little like 6 or 7 year old David turned to my dad, who I was watching it with, Men in Black with, and saying, "Dad, doesn't knock start with a K?" So I will always
uh,
remember that because that was one of the moments I was, and he was like, "Yes, but it's a joke, David, so it's okay."
nice. What was the other? What was the other 5 pointer again? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was knock your punk ass down, and for the last, in what Disney movie will you find for the last time we didn't order a trampoline?
Right. Duh. Okay. So yeah, no, I unfortunately did not know either of those.
Now, as we move into sudden death, both of them have missed. Really, they've both only missed 2 questions the entire match. Two, like two and an asterisk on Ethan's end, depending on how you want to do it. How did you feel going into sudden death?
Nervous for Rocha, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sudden death or any form of Iron Man is not something I'd want to go up against Ethan Irwin in. And kudos to Rocha. But yeah, that to me that was like okay, Ethan's got this.
Yeah, I felt. See, I felt similarly, but based on the way they played in round one, I really thought I was like, oh man, this could go either way. I do not know. Because before this match, I had gone back and I watched both of their matches, Ethan's against Jeff Snyder and Roka's against Oyama. And in the Oyama match, Roka scores a perfect first round. Erwin only scores 6 points in his first round. Then neither of them goes perfect in this round one. So I was thinking, man, maybe Rocha. I think Roka's going to take this. I think Erwin's going to blink. But as soon as the Star Trek question or the film debut of Chris Hemsworth question came up and Rocha used his repeat, I was like, oh no, this is Erwin's game.
Yeah. Now, see, I normally like I would review based on like how the performances was. However, Rocha pulled a Rocha here, where the the challenge, and then there was a question he missed earlier in the match that he was beating himself up on. I think he let that get into his head. So right off the bat, I knew he was going to lose going into sudden death.
No, he definitely, the energy had shifted after he got into sudden death. He seemed fine after missing the Men in Black question, but as soon as he answered that first question in sudden death, there was a energy in the room that was notably different. And it's tough to see that in a competitor who has so much fire. Maybe it's the seeing all these sudden deaths that we've seen this season. Well, all these sudden deaths, whether it's the Dave Malanta scrimshaw or Dan Murrow versus Ben Bateman, just there seems to be a lot in there, and that maybe has gone into his head. But I was it went 5 questions deep into sudden death. I'm happy to see when it's not over in the first question. We get a little bit of momentum going in there.
Yeah, no, and like I said earlier, Rocha says he disappointed the Outlaw Nation. No, he didn't. He played a great game. It's just unfortunately someone has to lose.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened to be Rocha. Like, he has nothing to hang his head on. Like, if I were to say to him, like, look, even Ric Flair lost the title 15 times. He's considered the greatest wrestler of all time. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's true. And Rocha's got nothing. Like, him and Whitney Seibold are in a very similar class where every time they lose, they have such incredibly high scores. Like, Rocha missed 2 questions or 3 questions, including the sudden death question, all game. That is like, people win with that all the time. Yeah. Rocha's got nothing to hang his head about. Now, before we get into Ethan versus Dan and then wrap up the show, Rocha a little rattled after this loss and says, maybe I'm going to take a step down and let Sabrina play in the tournament. Now, I'm not here to litigate with you about whether or not that will happen, but if Rocha loses to if the Founding Fathers lose to Corruption, will Rocha retire? And if he does, will he get the Yodi Award at the Schmoedown Awards?
That's hard to say. Oh, he'll definitely get a. That's a given. But it's hard to say. I could see him taking a step back, like going on hiatus. Don't see him outright retiring just yet. I do think he's got more in him. Now, whether or not he's got another championship run in him, that's a totally different story because times are different than when he won his 2 titles. But I'd have to say no on retirement, but yes on a hiatus. And you know what? He deserves it. He's earned it.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely has. One of the most long-running, never retired player. I think, and you know what? I would hate to see Rocha retire, but I really think a break could serve him very well. Obviously, if they defend against Corruption, play till the end of the earth, and then I think he jumps right back into singles as soon as he can. But I think given this match and his last match against Oyama, and we'll see if he decides to play in the tournament, there's definitely another singles belt. Mark my words that, assuming that my bold prediction there, or my doomsday situation doesn't come true, Rocha will win the singles belt again before he retires.
I would love to see that because I'm a fan of Rocha. Yeah, some of his way he works things, take it or leave it, but the dude's earned my respect. Harloff says it all the time. You wouldn't have the Schmoedown without Rocha. Like, he is first ballot Hall of Famer. To me, he's the George Washington on Mount Rushmore. All the accolades he's gotten, he's deserved. If you were to retire, it wouldn't be the same. It'd be like Gretzky retiring.
Yeah, it's not the same Schmoedown without Rocha, and we're spending a lot of time talking about these very sad future. But yeah, Rocha just killed it in this match, and I feel like we haven't talked a lot about Ethan just because he's just such a stoic presence. But let's talk about him now. Ethan Erwin, Dan Murrell, 3. What are we thinking, Soda?
Yeah, that's a pick'em. Now, here's the thing. This is a different Dan Murrell going into this than there was going into the last time they faced each other, because the last time he'd only been back for a couple months. He was still getting into the game. Now he's won the belt like another time after that. He's won the team titles. His studying has amped up. It's gonna be another close one, but yeah, it's gonna be hard to call.
Yeah, the last time these two faced, Dan had to play a perfect game to beat Ethan.
Yeah.
And I think he's not going to skip a beat, and I think it's going to be just that deadly. The only thing I would say, it has been a while since we have seen Dan play. I think the last time he played was in the Champions Exhibition match. I don't think he was a part of any of the other ones.
No, he was part of another one. I just don't remember which one it was. He was 2 of them.
Was it New Releases? Was he in that one?
He was in the championship, and he was in one of the other earlier ones. I just honestly don't remember off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is the only concern that I would have about Dan is Ethan's a little fresher. Especially because I don't think the team's title match is going to happen before this. I think so either. No, I think the schedule, like the schedule is out there, and we could look it up, but we're not going to, because this show's already running long.
A show with you and me running along? No,
never. But I really think Ethan has stepped. We're talking about Dan stepping up his game. Ethan has really, I think, stepped up his game in terms of prep, just on the fact that he got both a Disney and a dance movies question correct. And it wasn't a matter of, I don't know it. He used all his repeats to try and get to Emperor's New Groove, went with Meet the Robinsons instead. I really legitimately think that Ethan Erwin and Dan Murrell, we're going to see another overtime match.
I was just thinking the same thing, and I'm going to throw this is going to be a bold prediction. It's going to be the longest overtime match.
Really? Do you think
just Rachel and Mara?
Beat Rachel? Oh, that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah.
I think really what it's going to come down to is I think it is going to come down to the new speed round, because I think I think that this speed round, like, I know I just said overtime, but maybe I'm just talking hyperbole, but I think this new speed round really favors players like Dan and Alex Damon, who are quick, but not the quickest, and have all that knowledge. Ethan's a guy who, for the most part, really takes his time when he's answering the questions. And the speed round is how Dan beat Ethan before. And I think 60 seconds for 10 questions. I don't know. There may be a question in there, like Dan was saying on our last show, that in singles and teams, how broad can the questions get? I think that'll be a really good test to see what this new speed round is going to look like in that scenario. And I think there may be one tricky question that really he needs that full 15 seconds. He gums up the works, and I can see Dan running through it a lot faster.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, no matter what, this is going to be a match for the ages. It's going to be Rocky 2.
It is going to be Rocky 2, Rocky 3. It's going to be all the Rockies. This is going to be the best. Yeah, I'm very excited for this match. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Soda?
No, there's nothing off the top of my head that I can think of. I feel like we've talked enough Schmoedown for this show, almost an hour. Yeah. How about you? Anything else
Agreed.
for you?
No, congratulations to Final Exam and Ethan Erwin, and to Rocha and Deep 13. Fantastic matches. Congratulations to both of you. Played hell of a match.
Yeah, and Roca, you didn't let anybody down at
You didn't
all.
let
Like, come on, man.
you
Like,
let
I
no
get your Latino passion talking to you, but no, you didn't let anyone down.
didn't let anybody down. That's a great segue into Soda. How can you not let people down by telling them where they can follow you?
Instagram, Twitter, soda_the_saxman. Running the Media Sweaties network, and I'm also heavily involved with them over there. I've hinted before, we have a little something come down the pipe. I'm actually going to say it now. We actually have we're going to be launching our own YouTube channel. We're going to be talking just shooting the shit movie news, and we're going to be bringing on guests. And I would love to have Dave on at some point, and say with Lou and Dan and all the guys if they'd be willing. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much where you can find me. Like I said in the past, I'm everywhere, like a certain STD.
The joke only works once, Soda. For me, you can find me right
Still
right
makes
there.
me laugh though.
You can find me at my lower third, but as well, subscribe to Schmoes of the North on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Northern Schmoes. Come join our Facebook group, Schmoes of the North on Facebook. We run a lot of polls there, some opinion pieces. We've had a lot of really good discourse. Course, they're really healthy, really positive. You don't have to be Canadian. You just have to be a good person.
Yeah, Canadian at heart. And also, like, behind the scenes, we're starting all the new stuff, so subscribe. You might actually see some pretty cool things coming down the pike if we haven't been doing them. But there will be some pretty cool stuff coming down the line.
Oh, I'm excited about all that new stuff, and I can't wait to share all of you.
Yeah.
But from all of us here at Schmoes of the North, have a great night, everybody.